Hey guys, welcome back. Kevin Cage back with another daily and weekly update with Ripple XRP. Ripple being the private company and XRP being the digital asset. And again, this is all entertainment purposes. Please always do your own research and look at multiple sources, whether that's reading through various articles, blogs, podcasts, YouTube channels, you name it. Honestly, try to look at the most reliable documents, and everybody has their own opinion, so just do your own research. So first things first, some XPRING, or Spring as it's pronounced, news shared by Marshall Moe, so appreciate it. And as he says here, and I'll read the article a bit, Spring has quickly grown, and to date we have committed $500 million in support of over 20 companies to date, ranging from independent developer projects to larger scale partnerships. So as we can see, this article was written by Ethan Beard over at the Spring Initiative and building the Internet of Value 1 year later and just showing their progress since it has been announced last spring. So Ripple's ecosystem started with, one ambitious goal, really started with two people. And basically, as we've already said, committed $500 million in support. So I know we as XRP holders have been waiting for xrapid to launch, but Spring is something that we're going to see to ensure long-term utility and growth of XRP and appreciation, because with all of the projects that are going to be built on this is a whole nother use case. And the more use cases and utility a project has, especially as a deflationary asset, we are going to see long-term growth. I don't believe we're ever going to see all-time lows for XRP. I think we're relatively as low as we're going to get. Perhaps we see 25 or 30 cents again with XRP. I don't see that being very likely, but again, please do not take my word for it, because at the end of the day, nobody knows. But if you ask me, we're going to see some utility kicking in as regs are coming, and the price will be increasing slowly but surely. Perhaps the other altcoins and Bitcoin will rise up, but I still believe that XRP, whether it remains stable for the time being, will rocket, because based on any other project in the space, this has been around for years upon years and will launch. So our efforts have expanded the focus on two areas: build the best crypto infrastructure through contributions to open source crypto protocols such as XRP Ledger and the ILP, or Interledger projects, and help innovative blockchain projects grow through partnership and investment. They want to make it easier for developers to build projects that create real use cases for XRP, hence appreciating the value. Sorry about the puppy barking. The Spring team is building a robust developer platform by offering resources such as tools, libraries, and services for developers on the XRP Ledger and Interledger protocols. And they've been growing the team like crazy. And as you can see, of course, we have the Coil platform, which is web monetization. And we also have, and I believe this is pronounced Forte, not Fort, but please correct me if I'm wrong. And they've obviously made a major commitment to the blockchain potential. And as you can see here, Forte launched last month to solve a specific problem in gaming: how to better align player engagement and developer business models. Now, some of you guys that, subscribe might not, be a big video gamer, but I'm telling you, the millennials and younger crowds are massively involved in gaming. So new platforms enable new models. Cloud and mobile evolved the gaming industry from shrink-wrap discs delivering static experiences to free-to-play social games that were constantly evolving and accessible across all platforms. The shift not only introduced business model innovations such as in-game items, but also new user behavioral models such as virtual self-expression and online congregation. But on the way to the metaverse, the balance between monetization and the user fun became difficult to manage and were often in tension. And that is what the partnership of Spring and Forte are going to try to solve. So the parallel dynamic is that the games have been a core driver of adoption for new platforms, whether it's PCs, mobile, social, and virtual reality. And the thesis extends that similar forces are at play between gaming and crypto, and there are exciting early indicators at this. So at Spring, their core belief is that crypto presents an opportunity to realign interests and incentives of marketplaces of all types, whether it's between gamers and developers. By using crypto, the unidirectional, the one-way direction relationship, developer sells virtual item to user, can evolve into something radically more powerful. I'm talking creating an entirely new marketplace, just like Amazon with e-commerce was a whole new marketplace that exploded. Fully functioning peer-to-peer economies where users are primary and active participants. peer-to-peer, no middleman. If you guys have children, grandchildren, whatever, all of these kids, whether they're 5 years old and up, they were born and raised on iPads, already playing games in different applications. It's so intuitive to them. So this is huge, I'm telling you. So again, a few others include, we got Bolt Labs, Securitize, Dharma, and Vitse Vind, and his XRPL Labs. Of course, so we're already pretty familiar with that. And he's working hard, probably a huge contribution to XRP in the utilization of XRP and the XRP ledger as a whole. So big thank you to him. And of course, this is just a great, well-written and brief article, but Spring will continue to focus on the 3 key areas: the XRP ledger, providing tools to developers that are building on the core ledger, of course, encouraging the utilization of XRP, interoperability, another key word. So we believe a tech stack for crypto that is broadly interoperable across chains and layers will deliver the best experience for both developers and end users. We support the ILP as a standard for transacting across systems, and it's going to mediate that, reduce the friction across all systems, and are interested in other infrastructure that allow for cross-chain interaction. And I'm going to touch on on-chain and off-chain transactions as well. So decentralized finance is a huge part, of course, investing in new decentralized financial projects with crypto as their primary building block, including debt, derivatives, stablecoins, and other synthetic assets. So a lot of people don't necessarily know with, the new hot term blockchain, which is essentially just a database. It's a type of DLT, distributed ledger technology, that includes specific use cases on public ledgers. Now there's on-chain transactions and off-chain transactions. Most of us are familiar with the use case of on-chain transactions. That just means that those transactions are reflected on a public ledger. They're visible and seen by all participants on that blockchain network. You can trace the addresses, at least to a little bit, and you just see that everything's visible in public. Now there are also off-chain transactions, and we're going to see this grow more and more. And really, it's just a transfer. It transfers agreements between 2 or more parties. So there are some advantages to off-chain transactions. They're cheaper, usually free, as there's no participant required to validate that transaction. They're faster because typically they're transacted, they're recorded immediately without having to wait for all the network confirmations that we see today in congested networks, especially on Bitcoin. And there's more privacy. Transfers are not visible on the public blockchain, of course. It's really just the opposite. It's off-chain. And there's different methods of off-chain transactions. So there's payment chains, so peer-to-peer transactions using multi-signature technology, similar to Bitcoin Lightning Network. So Bitcoin's Lightning Network is an example of that. There's side chains, which use two-way pegging systems to move coins between the main chain and the side chain. And then we have solutions that the private company Ripple utilizes, like credit-based solutions, where they record the debits and credits between 2 trusted parties. And then we also have trusted third-party solutions. They really just record and guarantee the transaction as a whole. So I just wanted to touch on that. I tried to do a lot of reading and summarize the best I can. Next up, this is shared by Michael I. Pinky7. He has a great YouTube channel as well. I'll have to double check. He's extremely bullish on XRP long term, and this is very, very cool. So he, a lot of people will object and say XRP is too good to be true. It cannot create that many millionaires. And he has a picture here of address, or I believe wallet holders. So there are over 300,000 addresses, perhaps people that own over 1,000 XRP. Now, granted, I alone probably have, 7 to 8 wallets for XRP, so this number might be smaller per person. And then there's over 127,000 individual wallet addresses that own over 5,000. And if you own over 100,000 XRP, you are in the top 12,000 of investors. And a lot of people say, oh, there's not enough money in the world. You can't make this many millionaires if XRP does skyrocket in value with utility in the future. And he just wants to address that that's nonsense, and it's entirely possible. So in the US in 2017 alone, 700,000 new millionaires worldwide were created. And at $1,000 per XRP, only 300,000 new millionaires worldwide would be created. So a mere 80K would have more than $10 million, and a mere 12,000 would have more than $100 million. And it's just, he has the source here. You can check this out. There's all kinds of statistics based on, becoming a millionaire. A lot of it is done through real estate, but in emerging markets and trends such as this, I know Mark Moss, great YouTube channel on market disruptors, really does explain that emerging assets, we've had several every 50 years, every few decades, and this is one of them. There's going to be a massive transfer of wealth, and this is not nonsense. You can dismiss it. You can dislike the video. It doesn't matter. This is going to happen with or without us, and I'm just sharing this information. All right, so good thing right there. Right here, Alistair, Milne, at Alistair Milne, Milne, sorry if I butchered that, and he's just talking about, imagine being so horribly wrong about Bitcoin, calling it a bubble since $58. And I know you guys know this guy, Nouriel Roubini, and he's literally, with that short-term perspective, this is dated back to April of 2013. And I'm not even a huge Bitcoin guy, but I do believe in the digital asset space as a whole, and I still think it's going to have tremendous upside. So in good company with gold, convert bond, while everyone was focused on gold and silver, Bitcoin dropped another 40%, traded below $58. He has been talking smack about Bitcoin for as long as I can remember. The most pathetic critique I heard about is, and he's talking about CZ Binance, the gentleman that's the CEO of the Binance exchange, was chosen third most. He's just talking smack for years on end. And the thing is, some of these people just have that short-term perspective. Another gentleman that I really look up to, I value his opinion, but he's all about gold, is, what's his name, Peter Schiff. I've always followed him for, the past 5 years or so, and he has that limited perspective as well. So just remember to not have a myopic viewpoint, a nearsighted viewpoint, and try to look at the bigger picture, scoot back. And even if you think that I have a lot of confirmation bias with XRP, that is fine. You're entitled to your opinion. All that I ask is that you observe the markets from afar, and time will tell who's correct. I don't care if it's stable for a long time. I'm willing to hold. All right. Next up, we have shared by 9x Machine X9, and this is real-time payments at NPP Australia, just another document, the next generation of real-time payments. Just want to cover this briefly. So you can open this puppy up, and we have the real-time payments. I usually just control-find for Ripple, see what we can find here, and interoperability of cross-border payments. All of these institutions and groups are talking about this massively. We see the framework messaging standard of ISO 222, which I've done a video on, where financial institutions and payment service providers can select a platform that suits their needs. We got the W3C, of course, the World Wide Web Consortium. We got interledger payments. ILP is a keyword. And we see this framework occurring. It's going to be the messaging standard for real-time payments and real-time gross settlement. So we see the cross-border, of course, regional schemes or global initiatives such as Ripple or Swift GPI. It's just funny that Ripple is named right there with Swift. We've been working at it for 7 years. And I just want you to know that these are one of the, countless reasons why I'm so bullish. So I feel like I've ranted enough. I just wanted to show you another perspective. I try to cover different information that the other XRP YouTubers don't. Hopefully, I believe everybody contributes a lot of value, and I just want to share this as much as possible. Hit that like button, guys. I really appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.